fly ass chicks who paint them pretty ass lips. For them trap boys out doubling up on bricks. For musicians like myself that was blessed with a gift. Just to rap with a package, see what it is. Swerving through traffic like I lost control of the whip. Hurt the competition like I ran over these bricks. Double lines mean nothing when you're hugging the bridge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing out there? Welcome to Talk Your Wish Tuesday, the best show on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm your host with the most, Dennis Holmes, and I'm here with my co-host, Ryan Thomas. How you doing out there, Ryan? Everything good with you?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good, man.
All right, man. Listen, we got some special guests in the building. I want to give it out for the lovely young lady over here, Miss Sharon. How you doing over there, Miss Sharon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Would you like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Sharon. It's my birthday month.
Happy birthday.
So every day of June is great.
That's good. That's good to hear. All right. We also got Talk of the Town is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
What up?
Mr. Divine Stanfield. We're going to be in for an exciting show tomorrow. Make sure y'all tune in 9:30 on Wednesday for that exciting show tomorrow. But how's everything going, Mr. Stanfield?
Everything is good, man. We down here in Atlanta trying to turn down. I remember Lil John asking me for turn down for what? Well, we turned it down for COVID. And in the midst of trying to turn down for COVID, you know, things going on in the community. So now it's time to turn back up. So and while we here to talk your ish, man, just make sure that you're talking your ish in every facet, form, and possibility to promote positivity and the advancement of the human race and mankind, and especially our people. D. Stanfield, baby.
Thank you, D. Stanfield. All right, we also have Pylon to Pylon in the building. Again, my guy Jared.
What's going on, everybody? Back again. I think it was last week when I first talked here, right? I believe.
I think so.
Yeah, just here. I don't know what we got on tap for tonight, but I'm ready.
All right. And last but not least, Bills Mafia, Ethan Tweedy, a.k.a. Milcom, is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Milcom, talk to him.
What's good, everybody?
What's up?
Milcom?
That's his nickname for me.
Jesus Christ.
Because where I work, nothing more, Devon.
That's what they all say, Nookie.
Let's get right into it. All right.
Oh my goodness.
We got to see The Last Dance, right, ladies and gentlemen. And if they were to do an NFL version documentary, which one of these documentaries would you like to see? The Patriots, the Falcons, 2018 going 28-3, the 2007 Giants, the 85 Bears, the Bills 90-93, or the greatest show on turf?
I would like to say Chicago.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
So I think we've already seen it. We've already seen the 30 for 30 on the Bears, and no disrespect to my team, because I mean, come on, I mean, I think a lot of people can agree that the 85 Bears are arguably one of the greatest teams, if not the greatest team that set foot on a football field. However, I would love to see that 90. I would love to see that Patriots dynasty, only because they would have to encompass the undefeated season that became defeated at the end.
Not here.
Similar to the Golden State Warriors and their great season that ended in plummeting loss. So yeah, I would love to see that Patriots dynasty, only because I would love to make fun of Tom Brady as he thought he was going to go throughout that entire season undefeated, only to be smitten by Eli Spanning Manning.
Well, Patriots dynasty too. I just feel like it's so many years involved with that one, so I feel like there'd just be so much more better stuff. Not to mention the whole everything with the Patriots in their history, as they've been recently with the cheating and everything that the success they've had, and then the big games they've lost. It'd be interesting. I think it'd be definitely the most interesting.
Shannon, you got one, Shannon, or no? All right, well, listen. I want to know about the Bills. I want to know the 90 to 93 Bills. That's the one I'm gonna pick. That's the one I would be interested
I want to see the greatest show on turf.
in. Okay, all right. I seen that they did a documentary on that.
Oh, they did. They
Sharon,
did. They technically did a 30 for 30 on the Bills. The 4 losses too. I remember hearing about that.
oh, how about you, Sharon?
You mean which one of these?
Yes. Unless you want another one that you added on to yourself, I like to hear that one too. If anybody got another one that they added on to yourself,
Out of these, no, none of these. Of course, I want one on the Steelers.
which Steelers though?
The last two,
The last two Super Bowls with Big Ben.
right?
Okay, that was like two different teams. Huh? That'd be pretty good.
Like the Steelers over the past 20 years. Steelers.
Are you saying that we can add one on if we have?
Yeah, if you thought about one that you wanted to add on, yes, you can.
Oh, absolutely.
But I hadn't thought about it though.
I absolutely. I would absolutely love to see Ray Lewis's last season with the Baltimore Ravens. I would love
Really?
that. With Ed Reed and those guys. Yeah, heck yeah. That Super Bowl season, I would love to see that. Absolutely.
I don't know if they have a legit good one out there even, but I would love to see just a chronicling of the history between Ohio State and Michigan.
No, they got that out there. They I think it's called like Rivalries or something like that. They got a documentary on it. Shout out to Brett the Hitman Hills. He told me about it. There's a whole movie based on it. It's actually
Yeah.
a pretty good one too.
It is. It's good.
Yeah, the rivalry ain't nothing like it is now, but back then it was intense.
Oh yeah, because Ohio State's killing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
full
if
disclosure, I
had
thought
to
we were
pick
keeping it
one of these,
professional.
though, I think if I had to pick one of these, I would pick the 2007 Giants.
That's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to add one on, and this will be me being a homer, but I think I will add on the Eagles from 2001 to 2004. That's what I add on.
Was Donovan McNabb in it?
Why?
Yep.
Yeah. Why, Dennis?
No, I don't
Why
wanna
would you?
see
Why
it.
would you like to? Why would you like to see that, Dennis? I'm curious.
I would like to see what was the front office thoughts. That's the one thing, because I want to know what made everybody in that front office say Freddie Mitchell was the guy. Like that's one. I want to see, how good, how much they're gonna talk about Jim Johnson on there. I want to see the defense, how we lost pieces and put pieces together, but still end up making it to the NFC Championship game. What's that, 4 years straight? So I would like to actually see how that coaching and building all went together.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I wouldn't want to see that trash, but yeah, I got you.
Another one I would like to.
You've been watching trash for 34 years.
Yeah, that's why I know it. That's how I know what it looks like. That's why I wouldn't want to see it.
I know this.
Yeah, I know exactly what it looks like. Wouldn't want to see it. Would not want to see it.
I understand.
Nick Saban's last couple of years at LSU, then his year in Miami, and then starting off the Alabama dynasty would be an interesting concept, I think.
Yeah,
that whole little section of his career.
What I want to know is why are these guys not signed?
Well,
why are these guys what?
Why are they not signed?
Freeman can't block.
Freeman couldn't block his whole career.
Freeman's. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
And injuries play a big part of his career.
Okay.
For the last 3 seasons, he's been getting injured. So, and Clowney just want too much money.
Yeah, but he got an injury problem too.
Yeah.
Actually, most of them only do.
Yeah.
But what are y'all thoughts on why these guys not getting signed?
Well, everybody got their quarterback right now. So that's why Cam Newton is not signed. Everybody already got that top quarterback on their team and their backups. So he got to wait till somebody get cut to get signed.
Okay. Anybody else got anything to say?
Oh, that's. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these are. I'm surprised. One of the ones I'm surprised hasn't got picked up is Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan is a pretty good cornerback, and I'm surprised with all the teams that still need him. I'm surprised they haven't.
So
I mean, if we're looking at what they're saying on the prices, I wouldn't pay $10 million for Logan Ryan right now.
The Cam Newton piece will be resolved very, very soon. The Jadeveon Clowney piece will be resolved very, very soon. The Jason Peters piece is he's not a natural fit given the amount of money that he wants with any team that he actually fits. I don't care about Everson Griffin. I don't care about LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy.
Freeman.
I don't care about Devontae Freeman. And let's be clear, Devontae Freeman is asking for way too much money, given what his durability, reliability, and overall ability is. I mean, you look at the trajectory of the career of Devontae Freeman and Dalvin Cook, two individuals that came out of Florida State, right? And it seems like they're going in two different directions, although they both had the same type of knee injuries. So, does work ethic come into play? I mean,
yeah, because one guy was a guy in Florida State, and the other one
was a nice compliment.
Yeah, he had to pick his way through the NFL to actually get on the team.
Yeah. So, I mean, the person I like Devontae. I've been around him a couple times. I liked him the person, but when it comes to like why he's not signed, he'll find a spot. But the money that he's trying to garner up, nah, I'm good on that. Daquise Denard, I don't know why he's not signed. Logan Ryan, I don't know why he's not signed either. Eric Reed, we know why he's not signed because the world believes that he should be out there protesting with the rest of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to my frat. Shout out to my frat brother, but I mean, it is what it is.
I got faith in him. He'll get some. I'll get to that later.
All right, let me to read comments. Catch us up. Starting at the top, Marcus said, "What's up?" Kevin Thomas said, "What's good, D?"
What's up, KT? What's going on, man?
Ricky Bobby says, "What's up?" April Thomas said, "What's up?" Tom Casey TC said, "Hey." Aaron Pop said, "Hello." Kellen said, "Like and share the show."
Thanks, Kellen.
TC said he shared it. Kellen said, "Happy birthday. I'm taking a drink for Sharon."
All right.
TC said, "Driving home. I'll join in at home." Marcus said, "Have a great show, guys." Marcus said, "Milk 'em." LOL. Aaron Pop said, 85 Bears. Marcus said, "The Patriots dynasty. Andre the Torch Robinson said, "Bills Mafia." So I'm guessing he's talking about the 99-93 Bills. Marcus said they did one on the Bears and then 99 Rams.
Right.
Yolanda Moran said Patriots all day.
Hey, what's going on, Yolanda?
Marcus.
Kellen said Buffalo Bills.
Bills Mafia.
Marcus said 9 Super Bowls in 20 years, 11 division chips in a row. They had to throw that in there, didn't you? Patrick Judkins said 85 Bears and Bills already have 30 for 30.
BJ, what's going
on? Ricky Bobby said all of them have been talked about and showed. I personally would be interested in the Bills since the local star was on the team. Jade said hello. Marcus said they have one for the Bills on NFL Network. Ricky Bobby said the Chiefs 50-year drought. Marcus said they have one on the 2007 Giants on NFL Network.
I didn't see that.
Ricky Bobby said he's a glutton for punishment. Robert Leader said everyone get along. We need to hear that a lot more in today's society, that's for sure. Marcus said Freeman is injury prone. Marcus said Clowney thinks he's Khalil Mack. Ricky Bobby said that seriously, the 2019 to 2020 Chiefs, Reed gets his ring, Mahomes. Rick Allen says gets running backs a dime a dozen. Marcus said Peters is old. Said Shady is washed up. Dalton says Jason Peters is old. Marcus said Ryan is a slot corner who wants number one corner pay. Robert Leader said give him $20 a game. Eric Reed said, Kellen Lane said Eric Reed took a knee and lost a step. Lost a step. that was pretty clever. Marcus said Denard isn't very good. And Kellen
that was good.
Refresh, make sure I got everything. Marcus said Reed comes with political baggage. He's outspoken. Dalton said I honestly think Logan Ryan would have been signed already. Marcus said he's a slot corner. Think.
All right, and special shout out to Miss Delinders in the building. How you doing, Miss Delinders? Shout out to the OnPoint Network again. The next one we got here, top 20 running backs. We got this top 10 list right here. All right, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette, Alvin Kamara, and Chris Carson. How do y'all feel about this list?
The number 9. He's not no starter running back in this league.
What? Kamara's a starter?
Now, last year, me and Dennis watched the same game. What did he do in the first half, Dennis?
The first half, if anybody knows this and you want to take some time and look at this game, it was the Saints versus the Tennessee Titans. And in the first half of the game, he didn't look like himself. Using Kamara likes to run people over, hit people with a couple of jukes and stuff. This guy was just going out of bounds, getting a couple yards, go out of bounds. Wasn't even trying to do nothing extra. The second half of that game, he went back to the old Alvin Kamara that he used to be. And that's why I said I do believe he's a starter, but it's something about the Saints that I just don't trust him. Like when it comes after November, it's something about them. I just don't trust them. Like after November, I'm scared to play the Seahawks. After November, I'm not scared to play the Saints. That's just how I feel about the situation.
I just think when they had Ingram and Kamara, that two-headed monster, how do you say they play off of each other.
Right.
And now Ingram with the Baltimore Ravens, he's not the guy.
Well, he basically been putting the same numbers, about 800.
Yeah, he put up the same numbers, but still, he's not doing that much.
Right.
I gotta say, I don't like. I'm sorry. I mean, all respect to Joe Mixon, but I don't like Joe Mixon at 7.
You don't think he's the top 7 running back?
Yeah, Ethan is smoking crack on that one.
Yeah, he could go up. Creatively go up.
Joe Mixon ain't fumbled since he's been in the league, right? I think I'm quoting that right. I think he ain't fumbled since he's been in the league.
Joe Mixon was
Catch
a monster.
The rock too.
Joe Mixon was a monster before he even. If he wouldn't have got in trouble, Joe Mixon would have probably been on he might be on a contender, but that's neither here nor there. Whatever.
Kelly said Carson out of top 10 running back. How you feel, Sharon?
I don't agree that Christian is the number 1. I would put Christian down as number 4.
Whoa,
4.
Wow. Let me hear this.
Whoa. I gotta hear this one.
Whoa.
I gotta make sure. Make sure we get Sharon a t-shirt Ignorant Thinker Podcast T-shirt. Because I see I'm rubbing off with some people around
You
here.
need to get.
Oh,
You need to get. You need to get.
Am
You need to get Sharon a.
Let her defend her case.
You need to
Well,
get
I mean,
Karen
this
a
is the reason
casket because
why.
this
This
might
is
be
the
it
reason.
for her.
You can't really go off last season to me.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
But I mean, Christian is a great running back, but I have him as number 4. Yes, I know about all the miles catching and running. I got it. But I think that there are some. I'm looking at the technical running back. I'm looking at the player.
She's applying the eye test, people.
Well, that too, but I'm not only looking at stats because I'm just a person that I don't believe stats tell the whole story ever.
Preach.
And
Preach
I'm just looking at him as a player.
I just want to know
and
the
other factors that were going on each of these guys' teams. I think Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the league right now.
Okay.
The best.
Okay, who's number 2?
I think that number 2 would be Ezekiel Elliott.
Child, that's where we wrong. Okay.
And number 3, I think Derrick Henry's where he's supposed to be, and then Christian.
Somebody's sucking up to Marcus.
Now, Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is great. I didn't really study up on Nick Chubb though. I have to read up more on him. And then the bottom 5, they can all stay. It's not so hateful. It kind of disturbs me that Alvin Kamara plays a different game the second half versus the first half. You know, I'm one of those people. I look for players to give it they all and never take a play off.
Right.
So people that that do that type of stuff, that taking plays off stuff, that really influences my view of them. And that's the reason why on my all-time wide receiver list, that's why Randy Moss. That's the reason why I drop him down a couple of pegs because of that.
How many pegs? He make top 5?
He's in the top 5, but he's 5.
Okay.
He is 5.
He is 5. And I think, I mean, that's his fault. He shouldn't have been taking plays off and then told everybody about it. Like, what? Yeah, I did it. Okay. You 5. You're not 1 through 4. No. So that's where I'm at.
Devon, did you have a problem with it?
I have a huge problem with this list. Huge. So all right. Let's go down the list. Number 1.
Here we go.
Number 1, Christian McCaffrey is definitely not number 1 in my book. I wouldn't drop him down to number 4. Although I do believe that if you took his spinach away, I'm not going to go into the specifics. I just say that spinach and whatever he's on starts with the same letter. If you take that away, we might be looking at a different guy. That's all I'm going to say. I personally also feel as though Saquon Barkley is the best back in the league. I don't think it's close. And I think that his sustainability, if that organization actually did a good job at getting offensive linemen, which I think they're on the right track now with the draft picks, I think that they're on the right track to get Saquon what he needs, because I think when you look at Saquon and you look what he does as soon as there's daylight, there's nothing like him in the league right now. So that's where I am with that. Number 1. Number 2 for me is Derrick Henry. Number 3 for me is actually Christian McCaffrey, and number 4 is Dalvin Cook.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. When you look at what Dalvin's been able to do, with a decent offensive line and with a team that everyone knows for a fact that Kirk Cousins is a ticking time bomb waiting to turn the ball over, and they're going to have to rely on him. When he's on the field, he's phenomenal. So I'm putting Dalvin Cook number 4, Ezekiel Elliott number 5, Joe Mixon number 6, Nick Chubb number 7.
You move Chubb all the way to 7. Wait. You got Joe Willie Mixon over Nick Chubb.
Oh, Willie.
That's correct. That's correct. And let me tell you why. I love. So first of all, you know I love Nick Chubb. Everybody knows I love Nick Chubb. I was high on him coming into the draft. I was high on him just like I was high on Stoney Michel. I personally feel like Nick Chubb is last year he was the beneficiary of being a two-headed monster guy. Sharon.
You're already getting shit from Marcus right now in here.
Wait, no. But for 6 weeks. So the other 10 weeks just that doesn't. He ain't do nothing. The other 10 weeks, you know.
No. I'm not saying he didn't do nothing. I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, I think that the obstacles that I don't think that he could carry the load that Joe Mixon is carrying in Cincinnati. That's all I'm saying.
What?
Yeah.
Like he was second in the league in rushing with a bad offensive line.
What? Yo, why do y'all call Cleveland's line a bad offensive line? They're not a bad offensive line. They don't like their quarterback. Period. They don't like their quarterback.
Is that what it is?
My quarterback's running around. That's why they don't block that guy. That's why they don't block for that guy.
Yeah,
that is the reason why they don't like. They don't like the arrogant douchebag named Baker Mayfield.
So what you're saying is they're talented enough to do it.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
It is a combination. Wait, hold up, man. It is a combination of lack of desire and organizational chaos. That is why they're not blocking for Baker Mayfield. But make no mistake, their run blocking is exquisite.
Their run blocking is nice.
So, and when you compare that offensive line and their run blocking, I get it. A lot of people don't pay attention to the details. I'm cool with that. But when you pay attention to the details and you see what their offensive line is doing on the run versus what Joe Mixon's line is doing on the run, it's not even comparable. Not at all. It's remotely trash.
Okay.
And Cincinnati had no one last year. No one.
Can I say this? Do you know that the Browns, not only did they go get O-line to help them out, they went and got the offensive line guru and Bill Callahan.
I did. We talked about that, Dennis.
I just want to put all that out there because they know that their offensive line was trash. So they went and got the guy who can tune up any offensive line. They went and got the guy.
They knew that their offensive line was pass blocking trash. And I'll say
again, and their run game was nice. I'm just saying that
it's easy for you to be pass blocking trash when you don't want to play with a guy who. And I'm hard on Baker because I feel like Baker has a skill set that with that team around him could be successful. So I'm extremely hard on him. On top of the fact that socially he's a freaking douchebag, but outside of that, I'm sorry. I'm one that is high on Nick Chubb, but I think that at this stage in the game, Joe Mixon is a better running back right now.
Me personally,
everything else stays where it is. I would actually put Alvin Kamara ahead of Leonard Fournette, but everything else is cool.
The only thing that I was moving around was Nick Chubb and Ezekiel Elliott. That's it. Everything else is pretty much cool for me. I don't have a problem with none of that.
I'm guessing Marcus didn't like the fact that I put Dalvin Cook over his.
No, he didn't. Actually, Ethan, could you read that?
Yeah, I'll get back up. Delendra said hello after you said hello. Kellen said Carson's not a top running back. Because I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this, but that's rich coming from Dime a Dozen.
Funny, good one, Ethan.
Marcus has his a list here. He says Zeke, CMC. What happened? Oh, CMC, Zeke, Barkley, Henry, Chubb, Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, Mixon, Bell.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh yeah, he in love with you.
Yeah, he did. Kellen said like and share the show and all the content. Right. Marcus said, "I love you, Sharon."
Told you. Look at her. She got a fan favorite.
Marcus? Who's Marcus? Marcus?
Cowboys fan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know who that is.
Look at you grinning. Got you a fan favorite. Look at you.
Oh, please.
I'd rather
But
be.
Le'Veon Bell belongs on that list. He belongs on the list.
TC said McCaffrey's number 1. TC said NFL's a numbers game. Period. Put up or shut up.
I don't care what the game is. I'm not going just by stats, and that's it.
Marcus said cook over Zeke. Zeke number 5.
That's crazy.
Chuck Thomas said he's an Oklahoma player. Going out to you, Dennis.
Yeah, that's what you always say. I'm Oklahoma guy.
Marcus isn't even the best on his team. Give Hunt those carries and see what he does.
Yeah, Marcus, that's where you tripping at.
Yeah. Chuck Thomas said, is Lamar Jackson on this list? Marcus said having Freddie Kitchens as your coach don't help either.
I can't even laugh at that.
That was funny. I don't care. That was funny.
That was not funny.
That was hilarious.
TC said Cleveland has completely reshaped the offensive line. Chuck Thomas said Christian McCaffrey, Zeke, Saquon, Henry, and I think you're tripping, but he's got faith in Gurley as number 5.
Yeah, he tripping.
What are y'all, man? Listen,
he's tripping.
I would have taken Chris Carson out and put Josh Jacobs in there, but that's about it.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs. No, Aaron Jones too.
Josh Jacobs was in mine.
I think Aaron Jones might be I think Aaron Jones might have that sophomore slump. So just be patient with that.
Aaron Jones is past the sophomore season.
No, not as a starter. He's not.
Hunt led the league rushing as a rookie.
Yeah, he's not as a starter.
You knew what he meant.
So how do you feel about this second half of the list?
Let's see.
Who cares? Who cares? Who really cares? The fact that Todd Gurley is on this list says a whole lot.
That's the thing. Todd Gurley and Kenyon Drake actually says a lot to me.
And I'm going to be honest. Aaron Jones should be top 10.
Aaron Jones should be top 10.
Aaron Jones' production last year warrants top 10. Aaron Jones's ability. Has Aaron Jones been a top 10 back for the last 2 years?
No.
All right then. So shut it up.
But that's only because Aaron Rodgers was injured the year before.
Based off last year.
That should have got you more yards.
No, well, it should have, but it's not him.
See, this is my problem. Okay. So let's go back to the argument. Let's go back to the argument.
Fair, you did bring him up as a 1-year starter.
Listen, let's go back to the argument about Joe Mixon. You just made a point about Aaron Rodgers being hurt, right? You just made a point about Aaron Rodgers being hurt.
No, but it's different in Green Bay.
It's not different.
It is everything.
Andy Dalton is just as much of a bum as whoever was backing it up.
Listen, everything in Green Bay rises and dies on Aaron Rodgers.
Bruh, he wasn't hurt the entire year, first of all. Second of all, the backups in Green Bay are just as good as Andy Dalton. Third, and finally, this is my final comment about this. The year that you're talking about, Jimmy Graham was there and mother sucking Devontae Adams was healthy. So you got a quarterback that can carry them, and you got talent, but yet and still Aaron Jones ain't putting out top 10 numbers. He wasn't even on anybody's radar. Meanwhile, the minute Joe Mixon stepped on the field, there's fear in your eye, no matter who they got on the team. Miss me with the BS, please.
And Matt LaFleur's offense
was over Joe Mixon.
Fear?
Say that again?
And the offense is built around the run game.
It's fear because you got to stop the run as a defensive. When he says fear, he says as you being the defensive coordinator.
No. Joe Mixon was a top 15 pick before he got into the domestic dispute.
Joe Mixon's top 5.
Let's stop shitting on
No. I'm not pooping on. What I said was,
I don't think
as a defensive coordinator, when you wake up and say, "I got to play Cincinnati today," your fear is Joe Mixon.
Why?
And that's just about
because they have nothing.
They got nothing else.
They have nothing else. Right.
And still, despite the fact that you can throw 8 in the box every single play, he's balling out on them. He's balling. I feel the same exact way about Josh Jacobs. Derek Carr can only do so much with the talent that he's got at receiver, and yet and still, Josh Jacobs balls out time and time again. Yep. I love what Aaron Jones did last year. Make no mistake about it. Aaron Rodgers was still on that field. So people were still
Scared of Aaron Rodgers.
back. People
That's
still
right.
dropping back, and which gives Aaron Jones the space that he got. Joe Mixon and Josh Jacobs don't have that luxury. So let's stop the BS.
That's what I said. I said that his production rides and ties on Aaron Rodgers. That's what I said.
Oh, no. I wasn't. I'm not combating you. I'm combating the idea that somebody is trying to argue with me about whether Joe Mixon is above Nick Chubb. Bruh, come on.
That's the argument I had with you. Me and you was talking about Nick Chubb. When you put Aaron Jones in it, Aaron Jones. Okay, I'm gonna take you back to this year. You remember the year Aaron Rodgers dislocated his shoulder, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that was Aaron Jones' rookie year. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was his rookie year.
I don't know that.
That year, Aaron Jones was getting a great little production going on, and then once Aaron Rodgers took his shoulder out, his production went downhill.
Plummeted.
Went right downhill. That's when I realized everything about Green Bay rides and dies on Aaron Rodgers.
Now, part of that is on McCarthy. Let's be honest.
And part of that's not that never happened.
Part of that is on McCarthy, and I think if Dre was on this show, he would tell you that part of that is on play calling and McCarthy, because I think that even when Aaron Rodgers went down, they still tried to stick to the game plan of passing when they know they should have just been handing off the rock. But make no mistake about it, man. And I apologize for having a debate with you on if we're saying the same thing about Aaron Jones and his production. But when I go back to the whole Joe Mixon thing, I'm just saying I'm saying to myself, this is a guy that every single down, you got to be saying to yourself, there's an 85% chance this guy's getting the rock. You're not saying that about Nick Chubb. You're not saying that about Nick Chubb. Not even 30% of the time, because half of the time he's not even on the field. The other half of the time he's splitting. The other half of the running plays he's splitting with Kareem Hunt, and then the rest of that junk they're going to Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. So when you got that much space and you got to prepare for that many people, and you're gonna have some leeway, especially when you got a good run offense that doesn't really want to block for the quarterback. You got to retire offensive lineman that's still talking crap about.
And they have 3 good tight ends now.
Can I ask you a question though?
What up?
Why did you move Ezekiel Elliott so far down?
All right. So I was hoping that nobody was going to ask me this.
That was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, what?
All right. So we're going to do this. Ezekiel Elliott is a shorter version of Adrian Peterson. He can't catch the ball out of the backfield very, very well on an elite level. Not like the guys that I put ahead of him. That's number one. Mm-hmm. He's a blocking genius. He's a beast on the blocking. He definitely runs the ball very, very well. I wonder what his IQ is like. And for a person that was in tip-top shape coming into camp despite holding out, his first 6 weeks were abysmal with the exception of the one game. Mm-hmm. So if we're compartmentalizing our evaluation on these players to last year, I put him where he belongs, in my opinion.
Do you think part of the reason for those first 6 abysmal games though had something to do with the offensive coordinator?
No, I think Kellen Moore wanted to give him the ball. I think it had more to do with the head coach than the offensive coordinator. I think Kellen Moore wanted to give Zeke the ball. I think games 1, 2, and 3, Zeke didn't show up, didn't give him nothing. And I think that Jason Garrett wanted to uplift Dak Prescott and that offense in terms of putting points on the board, mm-hmm. which ultimately, if we keeping it a buck, is why they didn't end up in the playoffs last year. Because if they'd have went back to the recipe that they did the year before that and ground and pound, they'd have been right back in the playoffs. So,
mm-hmm. So you really believe Ezekiel just didn't show up?
Yeah, I'm not saying that my opinion of him won't change mid-year this year or next year, but I'm saying right now, I put him where he belongs.
I disagree, but that's fine. I just wanted to hear your opinion.
Okay, now we have this top 20 offensive players list, and I want to know exactly
the comments again.
Which go ahead, you can read the comments. Why everybody thinks about this list.
Marcus said Hunt led the league in rushing as a rookie.
That's what was a rookie. Marcus,
Um,
as a rookie, so did Cheeseburger Eddie led the league in rushing. He led the job too.
Cheeseburger.
He did do that.
What?
I mean, come on, Marcus, like be for real.
Talking
Like,
about
led the
Eddie
league.
Lacy. Yo,
Be
stop.
real, man.
Stop
Cheeseburger Eddie.
dragging Eddie
Cheeseburger
Lacy.
You know what, Marcus? It's competition in that running back room. We'll see who start this year. How about
All right.
that?
Lacey should have stopped dragging after a year and a half.
Ramona said, "Hey, hello back." Chuck Thomas said, "Where's Dennis Scott, Joe Mixon? Will Jalen Hurd make this list next year?"
First of all, he knows I love Joe Willie.
Tell Ramona Le'Veon Bell about to sign back with Pittsburgh. I just
told
want
her that already.
to see her cringe.
Jalen Hurts ain't making no list.
Hey, stop.
No, he didn't say Hurd. He might have meant Matt Hurd.
Sharon's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan too.
Yeah, don't be talking about my Steelers.
Yeah, but there's something about that Ramona cringe, like it's almost pushing her. It's almost pushing her to go get a cigarette. I guarantee you, she's like, "I'm gonna tell her."
I'll just give you the side eye.
Thomas said Jonathan Taylor might be a number 3 back top 3 back if the Colts feature him with that.
Who said that? Who said that?
Chuck Thomas.
Come on, man.
He's from Minneapolis. That's why he said that.
Okay.
Marcus said they were splitting carries with Jones and Jamal Williams. Once they got the ball, once they gave him most of the carries, he balled out. Jones is a beast. Kellen said to you, Devon, great choice of words. The mother's sucking. Marcus
Tell Kellen to
said,
shut up and like and share the show.
Marcus said that Taylor has to beat out Mac for that first. Chuck Thomas said Oklahoma love going on today. I've heard Baker as well. He said Chuck Thomas said that Nick Chubb is better than Mixon. He said the Packers had an easy schedule. That's why he did so well.
Chuck Thomas said that Nick Chubb is better than Mixon.
I don't understand why people are sleeping on Joe Mixon. I don't get it.
All right.
I'm not. I will admit that is an argument that is debatable. I will admit that. But what I will not succumb to is the fact that Nick Chubb has a myriad of weapons around him that make his job a ton easier than Joe Mixon. You cannot deny that, Mr. Chuck Thomas, Chucky Charles.
I think this season, if AJ Green plays, they'd be about even on weapons. If this,
all right.
How, bro? How?
No.
How? Even when you get past the wide receivers, first of all, they got Joe Burrow, they got AJ Green. Even when you get past the wide receivers and the quarterback, that O-line still has not been repaired.
No, they got Jonathan.
Even still, the weapons though.
Jonah Williams. They got Jonah Williams. Who didn't play last year, so he'll be playing this year.
Okay. And the center. That's it, right?
Let me finish your comments. Let me finish your comments, please.
What's the bull name that
Take the bull by the horn, sweetie. If you want to finish the comments, just start reading them.
Just start reading.
I don't think you can hear me over all the
I can hear you, man.
Trust me, we can hear you over all of us and the cows in the background. Trust me.
Milk them.
Respect the man. Respect. Let him talk.
Respect. We tell him to keep
all right. Andre said there's a late night show tonight at 1 a.m. Chuck Thomas, Marcus Betts said Zeke might be the best runner in the game. He had 77 catches.
God.
He said Zeke had 77 catches 2 years ago.
Yeah, 60.
And Christian McCaffrey had 1,000 receiving yards last year.
Ask Marcus how many catches Zeke had that were over 20 yards.
He wants in the Zoom. So when he gets in the Zoom at 9 o'clock, he's going to be getting on you.
No, because I have a meeting at 9, so I'm gonna have to jump off. But he can catch me on the 1 a.m. show though.
Marcus said he was Cheeseburger Eddie was out of shape and still put up 1,300 yards. Is that Garrett talking about the Cowboys? He said they were behind in games, can't run back from deficits. There's stupid play calling.
Cheeseburger Eddie put up 1,300 yards because he was playing with Aaron Rodgers.
Had 80 yards in the first half versus Buffalo. Garrett was an issue. He said, "Let me in the Zoom." Kellen said, "This is Talk Yours Tuesday on Rise Up and OnPoint Network."
Yes, sir. And now, when it comes to these top 20 offensive players,
to his group, I believe.
This list is crap.
7 minutes.
You don't think that Patrick Mahomes is number 1 guy in the league?
Oh, no,
I didn't say that.
Hold on. I was wrong. I was wrong. Marcus was talking about Zeke, not Cheeseburger Eddie with 1,300.
Okay.
He was out of shape.
Ain't nobody care.
It's
his job that he was out of shape.
1,300 yards with the 1,300 yards with the absolute best. He got 1,300 yards with the best or the second best offensive line in the league. On
to the next one. We're not having this conversation about no Ezekiel.
He will when he gets in here, probably. All right. Anyway,
who's the crap part of this list, Sharon?
You know,
I'm just baffled as to why Lamar Jackson is all the way down at number 7.
Whoa! Wait a minute now.
I'm like, what? Julio Jones is number 4. I mean, Julio's okay, but number 4 offensive player out of all these players. I wouldn't put him as number 4.
The only way Julio should be lower than that, the only way Julio would be lower than Lamar Jackson is if he played with Lamar Jackson, because we know his stats would plummet because Lamar is not passing the ball as effectively as Matt Ryan, and that's Matt Ryan with a new arm. So
yeah,
I don't agree. I just do not agree with this list. Julio should not be number 4.
If Julio's not number 4, then it definitely should be Saquon. It should not be. It should not be Lamar.
I didn't say Lamar was number 4.
Saquon and Christian McCaffrey should be right next to each other.
And Saquon should be ahead of him.
What I said is Lamar should not be number 7. That's what I said. 7.
Yeah, number 5 is George Kittle. Kellen.
George Kittle shouldn't be number 5.
No, definitely
I agree.
Travis Kelce is better than George Kittle, number 1. That's first and foremost.
Travis Kelce is better than George Kittle. I agree.
And then D-Hop is better than both of them. So
I put D-Hop up there at number 4.
What about Quentin Nelson?
And I would move Julio.
Well, you put
I have Quentin Nelson in my top 10 at least. The only
reason why I'm dropping Julio off is touchdowns.
Yes.
That's the only reason I'm dropping Julio off.
Why are y'all doing this again? Oh my God!
Matt Ryan looks at every other part of the field except Julio Jones' spot in the red zone.
Decoy.
Well, when you
I get it. I
understand what's going on, but for you to be
when you double Julio Jones, I've been not sure.
Time out. Ain't nobody double him. He played against the Philadelphia Eagles. We ain't double him not one time.
He got one team.
Big games.
One team.
The second y'all get to the 25-yard line,
you guys do, and I did exactly what you asked me to, Dennis. I did exactly what you asked me to. I went back and watched that game. You guys do double him in the red zone.
Okay, then.
You don't double him. You don't double him anywhere else. You were right about that, but y'all do double him in the red zone.
We did. Listen, you might want to go back and watch it again. We did
double him in the red zone. I swear I'll share my screen right now.
No, Dennis, he did.
And this is the crazy thing about it. These were crucial parts of the game that they could have won with a touchdown. He's one-on-one with Darby. He catches the ball out of bounds. He's one-on-one with Jalen Mills. It goes over his head. Ain't like we got some all-star corners. We don't.
All right. Well, y'all argue later.
Go to the next topic, Dennis.
Y'all argue later, but I definitely have to move Lamar up a few. I mean, I just think that's just disrespectful having him all the way down at 7. That's my opinion.
Well,
what about Tyreek Hill? I think he has an argument for top 10.
Here was the rest of the list right here.
But I do think Quentin Nelson should be in there somewhere in the 10, even if it's just a 10.
That was the rest of the list right there. I'm fitting to take it to the tip top, baby.
I don't see Jameer Nelson nowhere on this list. Aaron Rodgers?
Whoa.
Aaron Rodgers?
What's wrong with discount double check?
Never mind.
Oh,
Let's move on.
That must be something personal with you on discount double check.
Yeah, because they have him on. I understand they have him on this list because of his career. This cannot be based upon what happened this past season. It just can't be.
Can I ask you a question, Sharon?
What?
Who was in the NFC Championship game?
He was. I know. I didn't say he was garbage. It says the list says top 20 offensive players.
You don't think he's top 20?
I think he's top 20, but I wouldn't have him at 12. And I didn't say he was garbage.
What about Drew Brees?
What you
Where's
said
he?
about the year he had last year?
I don't even see Drew Brees on here.
He should be right there with Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I'm
No,
saying. I mean,
Drew Brees missed 6 games last year.
That is true.
All right,
Well-
that's fair then. If you're counting that, yeah.
But Devontae Adams missed 6 games too, but he's still there. So I don't know.
you see what I'm saying?
Where's Quentin Nelson, man? This is disrespectful.
Hey,
It is-
How many
hey,
games?
Dennis. Hey, Dennis. I need you to look real close.
I can't see none of that. You got to
Listen.
just send me a link to my phone.
See, there's you absolutely right. I'm gonna send this to you right now. If you ever played the game of football,
I played the game of football.
Okay, so if you know
I
anything
did too.
about cover 2 with a robber, the robber is the double teamer / if you watch the quarterback. Obviously, I'm not watching Matt Ryan because he ain't running nowhere. So if a safety is dipping to one, if a safety is dipping outside of the hash on one side of the field, that's double teaming. G.
But why? Okay, if that's double teaming,
I'm sending you the link. I'm not even gonna argue with you about this.
No. It's not. It's not an argument. If you consider that a double team, I'm with you. But why is the safety not there when the ball's in the air? It's floating in the air. Why is the safety not there to help? If he's that close on a double team on a hash.
There's many variants to that. It could just be a bad safety.
I mean,
that might be it.
You just said your defensive backs weren't the best, so that might be their lack of ability.
Who was the robber? That's a question. Was it Jalen Mills?
No, the robber was
the robber was McLeod. Yep.
Oh well, yeah, that's your issue. He can't cover for family program anymore.
All right.
All right, you want me to finish these comments and then get into
finish the
what we got
comments.
next?
This is the last one right here.
All right.
I got all on there.
It's you're talking about the offensive lines. Marcus said the Colts have the best. I agree.
No, I just thought Quentin Nelson should be top 20, top 10 at least, or
yeah.
At
least top, yeah.
At least top 20, top 10.
All right, that's good.
Chuck Thomas said Lamar is definitely number 2.
Who said it?
Thomas.
Chuck Thomas said that Lamar Jackson is number 2 on the list for top 20 players.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck Thomas, this is the 3rd time in this show that you have said something that is absolutely outlandishly absurd. Whatever it is that you solicit on the streets of wherever you live, I need some of that tonight. I'm having a bad night. There is a curfew, and I need to feel good about my entire life. So whatever it is that you smoking and soliciting from these street pharmacists, I need it in my life.
Listen, wait, hold on. Before y'all finish, we do not get none of that on the FCC Airways on the OnPoint network. It was just a joke. All right.
All right.
Unless y'all deliver.
Donovan. Stop, rise up, family, checking in.
East Stanfield, man, I'm out, man. I got to go to this 9 o'clock meeting. Y'all have
All
a
right, man. Enjoy yourself, man. Great to have you.
Y'all tomorrow on
See you
TLDT.
later.
See
you later.
Ricky Bobby said exactly. Kellen said, Kansas City tight end's not on the list. I agree. He should have been on the list.
Kansas City tight end was on the list.
Dennis, open the Zoom.
Yeah, I'm open up in a minute after this show.
I
got it.
Donovan said he's against getting off work. Kelsey and Ricky Bobby said Kelsey and Kittle deserve to be there, but at 9 and 10, in my opinion. Kellen said anybody that plays for the Lions can't be on no list. The reason he was on number 20 on the list is he led the league in touchdowns.
And he's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
No, Hill shouldn't be higher because he didn't have that good of a year last year.
Yeah.
No, he didn't, but he sure made it though.
He made it, but he had that good of a year last year.
Chuck Thomas, Holmes, Lamar, Russell, Derrick Henry, C-Mac, Tyreek Hill, Aaron Rodgers, Michael Thomas, Hopkins, and Saquon.
Ricky Bobby
Saquon last? Wow.
Saquon had a bad year last year.
Yeah, but we all know why.
Bobby said positioning Robert may be keying on a look off by a good quarterback. And Chuck Thomas said he's on Jack Daniels.
Okay, is that it? That's all comments? Okay.
Yeah.
But Dennis, we all know why he had a bad year.
He was injured. I said that.
But that doesn't make him. Shouldn't drop him all the way down to last.
Top of last year, though.
It's based off last year's production. I can't put you. Your best ability is what, Sharon?
What?
Your best ability is what?
Availability.
There you go.
I know that.
All right. Wide
I
receiver.
still wouldn't put him at last.
I hear you.
Wide
Not
receiver.
last. Dead
Go.
last out of 20? I
Dead
don't think
last.
so.
I'm fitting to take it to the tip top, baby.
That's way too far into just last year, I think, to put him that far. He's still top 5.
All right, how y'all feel about this list, ladies and gentlemen?
What is it?
It's the wide receiver pyramid.
Tiers.
Okay, but what is it?
The top pyramid is the MVPs. The second one is the elite. I want to make sure I get it all right. Hold up.
So Odell is down in the 3rd tier.
He should be the 4th person MVP, and it should be those 4 because those are the 4 who have been argued as the best.
You leave your LSU homerism at home.
I mean, think about it. Who are the 4 receivers last?
That was Alshon Jeffrey. You wouldn't say he should be MVP if Alshon Jeffrey put up them numbers.
Listen.
Calm down, Dennis. Dang.
Listen.
I'm just saying, if they put up them numbers, you got to give the same respect no matter what.
Listen.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have the numbers memorized, but I don't give a damn. Odell ain't never in the 3rd tier.
Here we go.
I'll tell you that.
I said it once, I'll say it again. A trash year for Odell is 1,000 yards. That says a lot.
It don't say a lot when they
And if you think about the last maybe 3-4 years, who are the 4 receivers who are always talked about as, the top 4? Who's the best? What's always the conversation? Odell, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, Julio Jones. I think those that.
And if AB was in the league, they would say AB too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not.
He would still be there.
I would put him in there up there with them.
As a matter of fact, if he gets signed today, they're gonna say he's top 5 wide receivers. They're gonna say AB top 5 if he gets signed today.
I think
that's true because he is.
He is until he isn't.
So y'all talking about talent
until he proves he isn't.
Talking about production.
With everything going on, he just randomly went to the Patriots and immediately started catching touchdowns that game. He caught a touchdown. He was getting yards right away.
If you're gonna talk about production, you just might as well get a stat line and then just put them in order of the stat line and be done with it.
Yeah,
but you can't do that.
I don't like basing everything on just last year.
That third line of Odell's on is considered a solid contributor. The line underneath
he's not a solid contributor. He's more.
Hold on, let me tell you all the lines first. Then I'm gonna let you go ahead.
He's at a minimum elite.
Okay, go ahead.
After solid contributor is average. After average is too early to tell, and the bottom one is needs replacement, which is Nelson Aguilar. I don't think Corey Davis should be there, and Allen Hurns.
I also don't think Hurns should be there either.
Well,
he just had a bad quarterback.
Hurns came off the injury, and he was going through the Miami struggle. I'll give Hurns the benefit of the doubt. Corey Davis, I give him the benefit of the doubt. Nelson Aguilar, you are who we thought you were. Okay. And Sharon, I'm gonna let you go ahead and finish with your argument. Go ahead.
My argument is Odell is being totally disrespected by this pyramid.
There's
and
a
I
few
don't like
people being disrespected.
I had to listen to people talk about Odell all year, talk about how he has a lot to prove next season because this season was so bad, as if he had everything set up to win and he just did not produce. That's not what happened. I get sick and tired of people rewriting history to fit some type of stupid narrative. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And say what you want. He's on the Browns with a garbage quarterback. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, so the quarterback is garbage.
His quarterback is going to be garbage. He's not going to ever amount to anything above average.
No.
He's just not.
So if he wins so can I ask you a question? If he wins the MVP, then what?
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
If he wins the MVP, then what?
What you mean? If he wins? Who wins the MVP?
The garbage quarterback you talk about. If the garbage quarterback wins MVP, is he still garbage?
Why would you even ask me that?
I'm asking. You said he's garbage.
That's a
You won't
stupid
ever amount to
question.
nothing. That's what you said. I'm going what you said, and I'm asking you if that garbage guy win MVP, is he still garbage?
Not if he wins an MVP.
All
No.
right, that's it. That's all I wanted to know.
No, sir.
But what the hell does that have to do with what I'm saying? Hold on, Ron. I'm talking. What does that have to do with what I'm saying, though?
What I'm trying to tell you is I don't believe that he's garbage.
I believe he's garbage right now.
I believe the coaching.
Now, if he comes up, if he finally does what he says he's going to do, and that is be serious for once, and stop being so arrogant about himself and actually prove and let his game do the talking like he said he's going to do. I give everybody the opportunity to change. I'm just saying right now, after last season, y'all said that this pyramid was based upon production. So I anticipate that if you're judging quarterbacks, that was based upon production too last season, this past season too. And based upon his production, he was garbage.
I agree with
He has
that.
not lived
It's
up
when
to
it was the part that
anything
you
that he
said
said that he was
he won't be
supposed to
nothing
be.
better. He will never be above
No,
average.
no. I didn't say he will like I was definite. I said I don't believe that he will ever be anything more than average.
All right.
That's not the same
And
as
I don't
garbage.
believe that.
And what I'm saying is
That's what
he
I'm saying.
hasn't shown me any reason to change my opinion.
Okay.
But I welcome the opportunity for him to prove me wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I'm not like most people. Most people want to be right to the end and all that. I don't give a darn because all of this is speculation. We can't predict the future. We're not, who are we? We're not Madam whatever. I can't read minds and I can't predict nothing. But I'm saying based upon what he has demonstrated since he's been in the league, he is not showing me that he's going to do that unless he matures. He said that he got it. I guess last year might have kicked his ass enough to wake him up. And if it did, that's great. Ass is a donkey.
He's got to stay away from behind the Cheesecake Factory.
If he really has learned his lesson and he's serious, great for him, and it'll be great for Odell. But Odell was penalized because of that garbage performance of their quarterback and a few other issues on that team. And because of that, because I can separate that out, I'm saying that Odell is great and he needs to be at the lowest on the second tier. At the lowest.
All right. Ryan, you saying something, Ryan?
Yes. I was saying that. Is you saying all that because you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Sharon?
No. And see, and this is another thing. This is another thing that irritates me whenever I debate sports.
I did.
There are a lot of people that suck at debating sports because they can't be unbiased. It's all about fandom with them. That ain't me. Told you that the first day. You should have listened to me when I told you that. I don't debate based upon fandom. I love my Steelers, but you don't see me hollering that Juju Smith-Schuster should have been number 1 on the wide receiver list. You don't hear me saying that because that's garbage. That's not even a valid point. As much as I love him and my Steelers, I'm not going to say that because that's not, you lose all credibility if everything is about fandom. So no, it's not because I'm a Steelers fan and I hate the Browns. I'm just looking at it objectively. I love Odell Beckham Jr. and I value his true talent.
Yeah. That's your fandom taking over.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I love his game. His game is great. When I say I love him, I'm talking about his game.
I know. That's what you're talking about.
That's not
fandom. Jared's in love with him because he's from LSU.
Yeah, I get it. Don't worry.
I don't care about LSU. Don't care about LSU. I love his game. That's not fandom.
Well, I was talking about Jared with LSU.
Love where he came from.
I didn't say anything about you with LSU. I said Jared.
Yeah, that's my college team, and he always I always get flack from
everybody
because they think I'm biased.
No, I didn't say you. Ain't nothing you can clarify. I didn't say. I said Jared.
I'm clarifying that's not me though. That's
all I'm saying. I didn't say you.
You didn't have to say it.
Clarify something that wasn't directed at you. That's you just clarifying the air.
I'm not clarifying the air. I can clarify anything I want to. I ain't got to wait for you to say it for me to clarify.
Amen. God bless you.
That's right. I don't have to.
Now, Jared, why is your fandom so high on Odell Beckham Jr.?
The way I see it, I was going to explain Baker Mayfield first, my take on him. Rookie year, he had a solid rookie year. I think he has all the tools. He has all the physical ability. It was all mental for him last year, combined with the line had inconsistent play. It was a lot of him hurrying and being so quick to jump out of the pocket and holding on to the ball extremely too long at most of the time. And I think that contributed a lot to the unsuccessful play that he had last year. I think if he can work mentally on the game, he can be a good quarterback. But he really needs to work on that, and he needs to stay out from behind the Cheesecake Factory.
Right, I agree with that. If there was anything that anybody would move on here, what would it be?
Odell.
I would move Odell obviously to the top, and Jarvis Landry should be elite.
Okay.
Kenny Galladay could start having elite talk, and Keenan Allen should be elite. Amari Cooper could.
I believe Amari Cooper should be elite too.
Yeah.
I would put Amari Cooper elite.
Yeah, elite. Elite is the second level, right? Elite second level, right? Yeah, I would move Amari up to second level. Yeah.
A lot of those guys would move up, I think. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Jarvis Landry.
You put Evans at the top, you said? In the MVP?
No.
Right,
what about Alshon Jeffrey? Where would y'all put him? Would you leave him where he is?
Honestly, I think he deserves to be right where he is.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas. Anybody you think should be moved?
I would put Mike Evans at the top with Michael Thomas and Hopkins with Julio Jones.
Thank you, Ron. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I would say that too.
Because I cannot stand Tampa Bay, but I know give him his props. He's been doing his thing since he came into the NFL.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not that agree. All right, so we all in agreement on that. Anybody else got anything or no?
Wait a minute, Dennis, what did you say about Jarvis Landry?
I said he's in love with Jarvis Landry.
No.
All the LSU guys.
I said, Dennis, did you say that you would move Jarvis up?
No, he said he moving Jarvis.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, okay. Jared, what about you? You think he should stay where he's at?
I think that Jared Jarvis is good where he's at.
Oh, okay.
I would put Kenny Galladay up there with Tyreek here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that. All right.
Another good year from Parker. He'll move up there too.
Right.
Yeah, if Parker can stay consistent, he will move up there. I do agree with that.
What the next?
I don't know. I can't have Devontae.
The next topic is actually your questions.
Okay.
Zoom open.
Zoom is open.
My question is.
Oh Jesus! Here we go.
Well,
no. I'm talking about the Zoom being open, not his questions.
Oh, what head coach is the GOAT in the NFL history?
Ooh.
And you said in the NFL history?
NFL history. Who's the GOAT?
NFL history. GOAT. Coaching.
Without cheating.
Ben McAdoo.
He had to go without cheating.
What you mean without cheating? What you mean?
Right. I would give it to Pittsburgh. What y'all head coach name? Noah? Yeah.
No.
Y'all won 4 Super Bowl with him. And he did not.
Yeah, we won 4 in 6 years.
Right.
Yep.
He did not cheat. You did not hear him. Let me see. Video, people plays, and all that stuff.
Are you still?
If you're taking Bill Belichick out of the equation,
yeah, I'm taking him out.
Who is?
We know he's still mad about.
Who is the greatest head coach of them all?
What? But why are we taking Bill Belichick out of the equation?
Because he said he's a cheater.
Because he beat the Falcons. When they
were because every Super Bowl he got some kind of cheating scandal go beside it.
What's going on,
Only
Patrick?
the first couple.
No, we got a college football show that starts with a pylon to pylon.
So
we do one on the vote. Check out the vote.
So that's why I said I put Chuck Norris.
I'm gonna have to agree with Ernest on this one, and I'm gonna have to say Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh is.
Well, that's where I was leaning. Bill Walsh.
And the reason, and there's a 2-part to that. Not only did he coach and win the Super Bowls himself, but the coaching tree that he built through him actually goes because that West Coast offense actually went down the line pretty strong from him to I want to say Mike Holmgren, Andy Reid. What's the one from Oakland Raiders? What's his name? John Gruden. And then Andy Reid created his own coaching tree. He got Rob Ryan. I'm killing myself. He got.
You said Bill Walsh, didn't you? I mean, not Bill Walsh. What's his name? What's the other dude's name? Oh, damn.
Is John Gruden, and then Andy Reid had his own coaching tree with Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy, Ron Rivera is what I was trying to say.
That's it. Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera and Sean McDermott.
Yep.
Those guys and John Harbaugh. Or is it Jim? Which one?
Yeah.
I think it's John.
It's John.
John. And John Harbaugh. All those guys underneath Andy Reid. Andy Reid was underneath Mike Holmgren. Mike Holmgren was underneath Bill Walsh. So I might have to agree with Ernest on that one.
Here's a name. I don't know if he's the top. I think if I had to say it, the number one, I'd have to agree with Ron that it's Chuck Noll. But here's another name that nobody said yet. At least I didn't hear it. Was Don Shula.
Don Shula, rest in peace, Don Shula. That was a good one.
He's definitely my top three. Don Shula.
Ricky Bobby got Lombardi, Walsh, and Landry. That's pretty good top three right there. Donovan said exactly. He said Jared and Ron Thomas be holding grudges.
Yeah.
Jared was saying his Pylon to Pylon podcast is heavy college football. If you ever want to get into heavy college football, please check out the Pylon to Pylon podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
One I don't hold grudge is 2020 for me.
The second you mentioned cheating before you went on
Wait a minute.
I knew where it was going.
Every Super Bowl, every time
Maggie is from the region, yes.
Go to the Super Bowl, it been
some other people too.
And going on. Yes or no?
What was the scandal with the Falcons and the Eagles and
okay, the Falcons all played
Giants
with came up missing.
Oh,
damn.
Is it true?
Ron, you're grasping at straws, dude.
Now they're gonna start talking about when they were banging on hotel rooms.
No.
No, they definitely cheated for their first couple, but after that,
what was another one I might have to say is what's going on, Dre?
What's going on, champ?
They cheated for three of them, but
what's good, Dre?
Hey, Dre.
Yo,
what's up, Dre? What's up, Dre?
What's really good, Sharon?
Why you doing all like that? What's all that?
I feel like you know what? That smile, happy birthday to you, by the way. On the record, I just wanted to say happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, baby.
You're welcome. By the way, did y'all know Sharon gave me the mean face on her birthday on my show? Just remember.
I did not give you no mean face.
Yo, she was tight. She was tight about that Dak Prescott, the Buffalo talk, I think. Nah, I'm just messing with you.
No.
I'm messing with you.
I just got
What's going on, everybody?
I got my eye on the clock because I'm having my toast at midnight. That's all I know.
All right.
My next question is why people have not speak about what's going on in the world today.
You talking about those?
Can I be the first to answer that?
Yeah.
No, you cannot.
Yes.
No, you cannot.
Yes.
You always come bogarting your way in here trying to go first. No.
Listen, I'm on patrol. I'm trying to get in and get out, y'all.
Let me just say this. Let me say this. When Ron Thomas is talking about people that's not speaking up, he's talking about superstar athletes, those blue check Instagram and Twitter people. He wants to know why is people not going out there and talking. It has been a lot of people that has been out there talking.
Right. It has.
I want to give a big shout out to and a big blessing to Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
Sorry for his loss. That was going on with his brother.
Yes. Yes.
I seen Jason Kelsey say something today.
Yes.
I've also seen a couple coaches out there say a couple things. So but not everybody.
Tiger.
Some people did not like what Michael Jordan said.
No,
Jordan.
Into that, I'm going to pass this one to
Dre.
Shaq and let them go ahead.
Go ahead, Dre.
It's Dre.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Dre.
Well,
I got a lot to say. But you
that's
go
why I
ahead.
want to just slide in and slide on out. I just want to say this in a nutshell. I feel like if you're not saying nothing about social injustice, you are complicit to it. First and foremost, I just want to say that right off the jump. I don't care how much money you got or how much money you don't got. I get it. I get it that some people like to take the Michael Jordan approach, and which is to perfect their craft and stay on what they know best. But I feel like this is it, reading, writing, and arithmetic. This is social injustice in which people with power have a responsibility and a platform that they could be making change with the platform. And again, if you don't say anything, I feel like you're complicit to it. Point blank, period.
Thank you.
Point blank, period.
Thank you.
That means don't say nothing else. That's what that means.
Yeah, you go ahead, Shaq.
He even muted and put the picture up. He's like, I don't want to hear nothing else.
No, you the judge, Sharon.
No, nobody else had anything else to say?
No, it's on you.
Okay. Well, here's what I say about it. I try to put myself in the shoes of the person that we're talking about, and I try to give them benefit of the doubt. I don't jump to the conclusion that the only reason they would not say anything is because they want to protect their brand and they're afraid of making someone angry. I don't think it's necessarily that all the time. I think there's a multitude of reasons why a superstar, blue check, I think that's what Dennis said,
What?
that a superstar may not say something. I think we have to think outside the box a little bit and stop trying to second guess them and decide for them what their reasons are for not speaking. I think it's unfair to just reach the conclusion, oh, they're not speaking out because either they don't care enough or they're afraid to mess up their money or whatever, or they're be above that. I just think that's very unfair. I've been misunderstood on some things, not on this issue, but on some other things where people were thinking something about me that wasn't at all true. And then finally, years later, we have a conversation. They're like, well, I thought, and I'm like, well, you never asked me, but that's what they thought. And I'm saying that can happen with these blue check people as well. We need to be more fair to them. That's one. Two, I think that a lot of the times they don't want to say anything because if they say something, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they're not. If they don't say it fast enough, there's criticism. If they don't say it using the words that someone else thinks that they should use, they're criticized for that. They didn't go far enough. You didn't say it right. You should have said this. And they don't want to deal with that. Case in point today, when Tiger Woods released his statement, he getting all kind of criticism for it. He was bashed because it was too late. And they didn't like the fact that he said anything complimentary about the police. I'm reading the same statement. I didn't get what they're saying. I got it to mean something else. We can talk about that later if y'all want to.
Okay.
But just so I can hurry up and finish so somebody else can talk, I'll just leave that there. That I can see him. I can see him probably at home hearing the criticism saying, that's not even what I was thinking when I said this. That's not even what I meant by this. I can see that happening. Listening to the people on Around the Horn talk about, well, you didn't go far enough. You should have said this. Tiger should have said this, and he should have said that. And I'm like, that's the reason why Jordan never used to speak up. It wasn't about he was afraid it's going to affect his money. It wasn't his thing. And if you go back, well, never mind. I ain't gonna get all off into Jordan, but I can just see that. I can just see why some of them don't feel comfortable coming forward speaking, and it's not always about their money. And I think we need to be more fair in the in the um in the critique of them. We need to be more fair about it.
Okay. I can understand that.
Oh, and last thing, and I cannot, and I really think it's unfair to say, if you never speak up, then you're complicit. I don't think that
I,
that's fair. I don't, because people move in different circles and do different things for the cause, and for the culture. I do a whole lot of stuff no one ever knows about behind the scenes, and I don't say anything about it. I just get the stuff done, and no one knows, but the people around me know what I do,
Can
and
I
I
can
don't
I
have to
can I
speak out about that.
yes.
can I direct that? I just want to say something real quick. When I mean speak out, I mean show action. It doesn't matter if you. I'm not saying that you gotta publicly run your mouth, because we all know that actions speak louder than words do anyway. So speaking up or speaking out, I mean, action is another form of that, because actions again speak louder. So if you're doing something positive in the community about social injustice, that is your way of speaking out. That then I commend you on that. I don't, again, I just don't want people to think that I'm talking about, giving up a whole bunch of lip service, because a whole bunch of lip service is just lip service. You can talk for free.
Well,
talk is free. So,
I have to
Well,
disagree.
thanks for clearing
How
that
does
up.
that?
Thanks for clearing that up, Dre. But here's the thing about that: there are people who take action, but there's no social media, there's no media, there's no press. They just do it, and it's no link for it, and you can't
right? No,
Google it
right.
to find it. So people are like, "No, not you." I'm just saying, people will say, "Oh, well, they didn't release a statement. I don't see them. I don't see no video or nothing of them doing anything in the community. So whatever." Quick example, in one of the sports groups I'm in, when it was posted, they were talking about Colin Kaepernick, and somebody said, well, have you seen any video of Colin Kaepernick standing out protesting with anybody? He was criticizing him, even though Colin just paid money for attorneys to get the protesters that were arrested out of jail. But they want to say, oh, well, do you see him standing on the front line with the protesters? I mean, that's a criticism right there. Why? I don't have to
Well,
see video of Colin standing in the street for me
Well,
to say that this man is doing all he can.
you
well,
guys,
Doing it when he was alone.
I think I agree to an extent, but some people, their words carry weight. And when they say something, for instance, an Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, when they say so, when Oprah says something, most people listen. Most people listen, and I think that the thing that's making a lot of people upset, especially about Oprah, is that whenever with the whole R. Kelly thing, she had so much to say, and now when the time is for you, it's really time for you to speak up. I haven't heard anything from her or Gayle King at all. So sometimes your words, just because of the influence that you have, your words carry weight. So when you're silent and you have that stage, you have that spotlight on you that can have people rally behind you, and you don't say anything. Yes, I think that's where the complicity comes in at. I'm not saying that you have to go out and be on video, people, everybody saying you, but I have an issue whenever Flint, Michigan still has dirty water, and a guy like Floyd Mayweather, one of the Forbes richest athletes in the world, you're from Michigan. Why wouldn't you be sending like 18 wheelers full of bottled water up to Flint, Michigan? You're from Michigan, but instead you're sitting up there showing your Bugattis. You're showing your 4 or 5 Bugattis when you could be sending 18 wheelers up to Michigan to take people clean water. And that's where it comes in. And when you see people like Muhammad Ali risk their career, or you see somebody like Colin Kaepernick risk his career because he's speaking out, and then you have other people that hide in the corner and don't say nothing. This is the time to speak up. This ain't the time to be shy. This is not the time. So that's
okay. Well, I mean, okay, but it's never time for you to dictate the way someone should contribute. You can't do that. It's not fair. It's not fair for you to say, oh, he should have backed up 10 semis with the water. How do you know he didn't do something else? Just because he did not back 10 semis full of water up, how do you know he didn't contribute in some other way? Everything that people do is not broadcasted. Not everything. Even for somebody like Floyd. I'm just taking your example. Yeah. I'm just saying we need to be careful of that. I understand what you mean about the Bugattis and all that stuff. I do feel like Floyd needs to tone down on that flaunting of his, ostentatious behavior with the wealth and all that, and people are suffering. I agree with all of that. He's not the only one that does that type of thing either, and I'm sure you're aware of that too. But I'm saying I have a problem with all of them who do stuff like that and all that flossing and all that stuff in the wake of people really suffering. I get it. But we have to be careful in the judgment. We're too critical, especially of our own people. We're Black. We got to deal with everybody else hating us, and then we hate on each other because we don't do things the way we think they should do it. And I feel like it's wrong. It is wrong. The minute, I'm a pretty easygoing chick, but the minute somebody try to tell me that I'm not contributing to the culture or the cause in the way that they think so, we're going to have a problem. And I will literally come to blows over that, because you cannot dictate to me my heart for my people. You cannot judge my Blackness. You cannot judge my commitment to the cause. You are not going to dictate to me how I perform my activist duties. I've been an activist since I was probably about 9 years old. And serious about it. That's how my family is. I come from activists who were activists in the farms of Virginia, way back in Jim Crow laws and all of that. So it's in my DNA, but you're not going to tell me what I should do. You're not going to do it. Nobody going to tell me what to do or how to do it. That's not going to happen. So I don't do that to other people. So when people come and they say stuff, that's why you won't see me judge them for their statement. I'm a writer. I'm very good at writing. I do PR. So I know how to send a certain message out and the importance of it. Everybody doesn't have that gift. And everybody's PR person are not as good as I am. So their PR person might suck. So the statement that their PR person tells them to put out and think it's okay, it just might be showing that they're a terrible PR person. It may not even be the person's own heart, but that's what's out there. And then we gonna judge it. It's not fair. I don't like it.
Now, Dennis, do you got anything to say about this topic?
No. I like the way everybody hit the topic. I want to thank y'all for coming on, voicing your strong opinions on it.
I would love to know your opinion, though, Dennis.
Mine is pretty much like yours. It ain't really much of a difference. So.
All right. But if you ain't gonna cover that, I would like to go back because I was waiting to get on here. I didn't like y'all's little running back list. So I had to come up in here. I don't like the little running back list that was up here. I don't like people having Ezekiel Elliott at number 5. Elliott.
I don't like that either. I think that's ridiculous.
How do you for this man
Ezekiel's still top 5, of course.
For this man to have missed all the training camp and then to come in basically kind of cold.
He was cut
and
though.
You have 1,300. You were 5th in the league. You were 5th in the league in rushing, and you got this man at number 5.
Can I say something about this? I'm not giving him no brownie points because he came in out of shape and still had 1,300 yards rushing. His job is to be in shape. His job ain't to do nothing else but play football. Right or wrong?
Look, the only way that you get. Look, you play football. You play football.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that.
What's the only way that you get in shape? How do you get in shape for playing football? What do you have to do?
Well, first of all, you have to train all offseason. That's number 1.
Okay,
but to be in game shape, the only way you get in game shape is play the game.
It's playing the game.
That's the only way.
To still be at 1,300 yards and to miss all the training camp and to be number 5 in rushing in the league, two-time rushing champion, and probably would have won three years in a row if he wouldn't have got suspended 6 games. Still hit like 900 yards rushing after missing 6 games, and to put that man at number 5, that's not just asinine. It's ASA 10. It's ASA 11.
I didn't even get to give my list when we did it. I have it: Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, 1A, 1B, then Zeke, and then Derrick Henry probably, and then I'm really high on Joe Mixon.
I love Joe Mixon.
What makes Saquon Barkley better than Zeke?
I think when
skills.
we're gonna
I'll only say skills. That's it.
We're just gonna talk about.
We know Saquon don't have an offensive line and Zeke does.
That's not even just that. If you're just talking about their games, I think his game is more versatile. Honestly,
Marcus, and I'm not saying that these are those guys, but they're in that predicament. All right, can we say that they're in that predicament? Okay. What makes Barry Sanders better than Emmitt Smith?
Yes, me and you, we've had this discussion before. Right. Yes, I believe that Barry Sanders was better than Emmitt Smith, and I'm a Cowboys fan. You've heard me say that, and I get excoriated for that by my fellow Cowboys fans for saying that. Right. I felt like Barry Sanders, and that's not taken away from Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was a hell of a talent too, but when you look at the tape of Barry, I mean, there was a lot of times Barry was getting hit 2 and 3 yards in the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I always put him a little bit ahead.
I know Ramona would always say, "Oh, Barry had offensive line." Ramona, Barry didn't have offensive line. He had an offensive lineman that made it to the Pro Bowl, but he didn't have an offensive line. Is what we're trying to say.
What do you have? Maybe Lomas Brown.
I think he had 1 or 2 offensive linemen made it to the Pro Bowl in 10 years.
Read the comments, Dennis.
All right. I thought Ethan was here. Where you left?
I guess.
All right. Where are we at?
I'm here. I'm here, but I lost the comment.
All right. Wait. Okay. All right. Here we go. Jordan, who was Ernest said, drop the mic. Kellen said, please like and share the show. Ricky Bobby said, my job seriously told us as a group not to post anything that could be offensive actions or might be taken that way. All right. Donovan said for the culture. Ernest said fair statement from Sharon point of view. Ricky Bobby
said what? Say that again.
Fair statement from Sharon's point of view.
Oh, okay.
Ricky Bobby said Andre is right. Inaction speaks loudly too. Ramona said they do on the vote. Different show, and they do talk college sports here sometimes. Ricky Bobby said, I agree with Sharon. Dallas said, hope you guys out there staying safe. Donovan said, good question, Ron Thomas. This is a good segment. Ron Thomas said, thank you, man. Donovan said, I agree with you about Mayweather Marcus Betts. Ramona said, Marcus Betts, I sent you a link. Oprah and Obama have spoken out about this.
Yeah, they sure have.
Ernest said, godly folks don't speak on what they do for the people. Ron Thomas said, come on the show, cuz. Deborah said, waving back. Kellen said, fight the power. Ernest said, yawning. Ramona Dye said, what do you think if the field is on you? Not anyone else. Stop making excuses. Okay. Ramona said, he ain't on the field. He don't get the credit, period. Ernest said, good point, Dennis Holmes. Facts. Jared said, make sure y'all go check out Pylon the Pylon podcast. And that's all the time. You got another question for us, Ryan?
What quarterback will have a good year this year coming up?
Is that all the quarterbacks?
All quarterbacks.
All the quarterbacks. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna say it. Sharon, who I'm gonna say, Sharon?
Say some ignorant thinking.
Who I'm gonna say, Sharon?
Better not be that backup running back we got.
Who I'm gonna say, Sharon?
Baker Mayfield. Is that who you gonna say?
That's what I'm gonna say, Sharon.
You think he's gonna have a what? What kind of year, Ron?
Then it said an MVP-ish.
MVP
Okay.
season.
MVP-ish. The word was ish.
Who's gonna have what
Baker.
quarterback is gonna have an MVP-ish season?
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Roethlisberger. That's who it is. Yeah.
Ooh.
And we winning the Super Bowl. We winning the Super Bowl.
No,
The
Sam.
Steelers winning the Super Bowl.
And I'm going on the date with Raven
Big
Simone.
Ben
And I'm going
gonna
on the date
be
with
the
Raven Simone.
MVP of the league, and we gonna win, and he gonna be Super Bowl MVP all in the same year.
First of all, we both know that's not a Big Ben resume to be Super Bowl MVP. We both know.
Okay,
Kyler
Sharon.
Murray.
No resume. I'm telling you what's gonna happen in 2021. I'm just telling you.
Okay, Sharon.
Kyler Murray.
When people make wild, outlandish statements, stuff like that. That's how you end up losing cases of soda up in here.
Oh, okay. I don't mind.
I got she stuck with the big
Or
dogs.
jerseys, for that matter.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
stuck
not
with
mind.
the big
I do not
dogs.
mind. I'm stopping with my Steelers. I'm running with Ben. I believe in Ben.
She believe in Ben.
I believe in Ben.
And what is going to be the record? Because this. So what are we saying their record's going to be? Because I like winning Cherry Coke Zero from people, and when you make statements like
That's
that,
some nasty soda.
That's how I get. Tell her, Dennis.
I lost to him, but I won.
Let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. When I was really, really watching the NFL, I was the chick in the office that used to win the pool and wasn't barely trying to win the pool.
Okay.
That was me.
Well,
so I trust my skills, but I haven't really been watching it seriously for the past 3 seasons.
Okay.
And I probably won't watch it again this season.
Okay.
But
well, I'm
still rolling with number 7. I'm still rolling with number 7.
Well, I'm gonna watch a case of Cherry Coke Zero come to my house if you keep making statements like that. That's what I'm gonna watch.
Who you got, Marcus?
You know what? That soda is so nasty. I will send you a case of that for free. We ain't even got a bet. I don't want it nowhere near me. Cherry Coke Zero.
I love Marcus is loving that right now.
Well,
first of all, it's a Coke. It's Coke. You know, I'm still kind of partial to Pepsi from the whole Coke versus Pepsi thing.
Okay.
From the 80s when Coke was supporting apartheid, I just can't let it go. It's just hard for me to let it go. I still hold that grudge against Coke.
I just want some free soda from you. I'll take some cherry Pepsi from you.
Who you got, Marcus?
Who do you think is gonna be Marcus?
Who your
MVP? I'll send you anything with cherry in it. I don't like cherry, so.
I love.
Who your MVP this season, Marcus?
MVP. I'm in the words of my good friend. In the words of my good friend of me, Dennis the Man Holmes, the ignorant thinker. I'm gonna do a little ignorant thinking myself tonight. He likes to come on my he likes to come on my platforms and do some ignorant thinking. I'm gonna do some ignorant thinking right now. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray.
That was mine. Come on. That's why I was trying to say it.
Kyler Murray. With Kyler Murray with DeAndre Hopkins and those weapons that they have
in Arizona. Yeah, that's what that's mine. That's
you can
mine.
accumulate rushing.
I was really just being a fan about. Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead, just to mess with Dennis.
That your MVP season. This is
my surprise.
It's Kyler Murray.
Who I think will win MVP is Patrick Mahomes.
You said LeBron last week.
If I had to put money on it, like who's gonna win, I would say either Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. But if somebody said, give me, think outside the box and give me somebody who probably the majority of the country would not say, I would say Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray, barring injury, and that's it. I want to say one, but
I know what Dennis or what Marcus is gonna start going on and on about.
What?
Let me just say this then. I know you saying Josh Allen.
You say Josh Allen.
And I agree with you. Say Josh Allen. Go ahead and say it.
Don't do it.
Say it.
Don't let him. Don't want to
all
bait
right,
you
I'll
to
say
do
it.
this.
I'll say
Don't
it.
do it. Don't, no.
It's a trap. Don't fall for
They're
this.
trapping you. Look at the
It's
show
a
you're
trap.
on. Walk your
Dennis
edge.
said he
Little
agrees.
Marcus.
Dennis said he agrees.
Little
They're
Marcus.
encouraging
I
you
don't
to
see
say
that.
it on
Listen,
Talk Your
here's the
Ish.
thing. Here's my thing, and I want to say this to Sharon. I want to say this to Marcus. I want to say this to Pylon Podcast. I want to say this to Ethan. I want to say to Dre, and I want to say to Ryan Thomas. If Kyler Murray comes out and has the same year Baker Mayfield had this year, how would y'all feel?
Woo.
I'd be chilling. I would be chilling. I have to say I'm wrong. I
I'm a
was wrong.
Philadelphia Eagles
That's
fan, so I
all.
wouldn't really care.
Yeah.
I would just say I'm wrong. I mean, it's
Does
Arizona.
not affect me in the
I don't really
slightest.
care about that.
And me being a Bills fan, if that happened, I would be happy because we
I
played
was
them.
just saying Kyler was a dark horse to be like a surprise finalist. That was my big surprise finalist.
Dennis, did you not say you agree with me about Josh Allen?
I do agree with you.
Wait a minute, Marcus. I'm surprised you did not say your boy Dak.
You ain't been signed yet.
I'm surprised you did not say him.
We got to see what team he's going to be playing for.
He didn't say Dak last year when I first met him.
No,
and when I told him Dak was going to have a great season last year, he told me I was crazy.
I'm surprised because from the draft, you said y'all got the best wide receiver core in the NFL.
Yes, I believe that.
Okay.
Well, I'm also saying because of that, everybody's going to get to eat. I think the person that this helps most is not really Dak Prescott. The person that CeeDee Lamb is going to help the most, in my opinion, is Ezekiel Elliott. Because now if you're going to have to pick your poison. If you double team Amari, Gallup's going to kill you. If you leave CeeDee Lamb in the slot, CeeDee Lamb will kill you. I think Blake Jarwin at this stage in his career, where Jason Witten is, he's an upgrade over Jason Witten. So now with Dallas's passing game, if you put 8 people in the box, Dak will carve you up. Would you rather Dallas run the ball, or would you rather them pick you apart with all them receivers?
Well, if you're including tight ends, then I put the Browns over them.
Okay, you
gotta look at the Browns
and the Bucks.
Who's the Browns' third receiver?
They have Odell, Jarvis Landry, and then Donovan Peoples-Jones. They just drafted,
and they got Hooper from us.
Hold on, Donovan Peoples-Jones is not better than CeeDee Lamb.
That's what I'm saying.
They got Hooper.
No, Higgins. I thought Higgins got drafted by the Bengals.
No, the Higgins that was already there, Rashard Higgins, I think his name.
Yeah, Rashard Higgins. No, they're not talking. Yeah, no.
He's not there either.
But we also have to see what CeeDee Lamb actually does at the NFL level.
I think
we also have to see that too.
I'm not gonna dive into it too far because me and Dennis. We got a show on Friday. It's strictly covering the NFC East, so I'm not going to give away too much of it.
My special appearance.
Dennis Holmes will be gracing us with his presence on Friday.
In the words of Step Brothers, I'm coming to all right? Let y'all know.
It'll be fun.
Definitely.
The one advantage that, in my opinion, the one advantage that CeeDee Lamb has over the other rookie wide receivers is these other rookie wide receivers, most of them, the ones that were picked high like Ruggs and Judy, they're really being called to be number ones or number twos.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judy, they want him to be a number two to Cortland Sutton. And Ruggs, they want him to be their number one. They're telling CeeDee Lamb to go in the slot and be the number 3. Let's not forget, Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper both had 1,100 yards receiving last year. So all he has to do is come in and really just kind of replace Randall Cobb's production from last year.
Now, my problem is if Cooper don't show up, do you think y'all would sit him down and tell CeeDee Lamb, okay, you number one? No?
Well, they just pay.
Not with all that money.
I mean, I just saying
Not with all that money. Not with all.
you had to talk last year, Marcus.
What do you say? What you call? What do you say?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. The time that Amari Cooper got down, I think the whole team just gave up on Jason Garrett. He lost the team.
Right.
Gave up.
What
you mean gave up?
When you lose,
I'm saying when they walked off, you can, as a coach, you can lose a team. If you don't believe a coach can lose a team, go and watch. No,
I don't question that. Oh, a coach can lose a team.
We got 5 minutes.
Explain what you mean by the team gave up on him. Explain what you mean.
When a team, watch the movie Varsity Blues. Y'all remember at the end when the coach was like, "We ain't going back out there. If you're with us, we ain't going back out there."
Right.
That's what they did to Jason Garrett last year. They're like, we ain't. He lost the team. And coaches lose teams all the time. Jacksonville, their coach, I would not be surprised if them guys stopped playing for him.
He should have got fired last year.
Adam Gates up with New York.
Big guy Adam Gates.
He should never got the job.
I mean,
exactly. And what I'm saying is when them players, they look and it's like, I can't follow this guy. I ain't following this guy. You don't play football. You look.
What?
I ain't never give up on the game.
I mean, I ain't give up, but I said to myself, and maybe at the time, one of my best friends, our coaching stinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you're looking over, the coach makes a decision. You're looking over like,
you're like, why are we doing this play and it don't make sense?
Exactly.
It doesn't make
so I understand right there, Mark.
Yeah, so I believe that's what happened, and you get these, I'm telling you, if the Houston Texans come out like 1-4. 1-4, 1-3.
Can I say something?
2-5. I'm telling you, them players are going to be looking at him. Them players are going to be looking at Bill O'Brien. They're going to be like, man, y'all need to get rid of this dude.
Marcus?
No. Freddie Kitchens.
We said this last year. After that playoff game, he should have got fired. Yes or no?
Ben McAdoo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You get to a point with a coach and you're just like, it's like rest in peace to the great Denny Green. He said, they are who we thought they were.
Thought they were. Right.
They are who we thought. It's like, it's Maya
Angelou.
When somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
All right, now we got one last segment. This is it, and we got to swing around the room and make sure everybody get their input on it. All right.
Yeah, got like 30 seconds apiece.
Give me a I can't believe this gonna happen moment. Hey, I'm gonna give you mine right now. All right. I'm gonna give you my I can't believe this is gonna happen moment. I'm gonna give you mine right now. Mine is the Houston Texans winning that division.
Something that you can't believe is going to happen. That you believe is going to happen.
I can't believe it's going to. I can't believe it's going to happen moment.
Right, like we don't.
I got one. Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to happen, but it's going to be something that's like, wow, I couldn't believe that just happened.
Yeah, y'all got to hurry it up too. We got like a couple seconds.
Yo, Marcus.
Come on, somebody split it out. We only got a couple seconds.
Okay, well, I got one. Go ahead, say it. Mine is I can't believe that Marcus Mariota is going to take the starting job. What's his name?
Derek Carr problems. Okay.
Derek Carr. Yeah, I don't believe
that's a good one. What you got, Bills Mafia?
I don't believe that Dolphins are winning that division.
Okay. What you got, Pylon?
I can't believe Devin White won Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay. What you got, Marcus?
I can't believe if Aaron Rodgers comes back and plays with the Packers next year.
All right. Hey, Ron Thomas, what you got?
I can't believe Minnesota going to be in the playoffs next year.
All right. Well, listen, we would like to thank y'all for tuning in to us each and every week. And I want to thank all the fans out there. We want to thank the OnPoint Network as well. Listen, if y'all trying to look for us or find us, make sure y'all look at the Rise Up Sports Network group on Facebook. If you're looking for me specifically, I'm the Ignorant Thinker Podcast. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me there each and every day. I got a question of the day. We all want to thank y'all for coming out and spending some time with us tonight. I'm your host, Dennis Holmes, brought to you by your co-host, Ryan Thomas. And we have Alphabets, Sharon Nolan, Andre George Robinson, Bills Mafia, and Pyron the Problem.
Fly ass chicks who paint them pretty ass lips. With them trap boys out doubling up on bricks. For positions like